Become a member and support the channel. Old World Tactics, Battle Reports, the 2+ podcast.
G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of the 2+ podcast. We're joined by some very special guests tonight, which is awesome. We've got the Old World Fanatics here with us, Andrew and Gommo. How are you doing, guys? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. A lot of content this week. I've been doing videos every bloody night, it feels like. So,
Last week, you guys pumped out like a video a day. It was incredible.
Yeah.
2-hour deep dives, battle reports, all this stuff. If for somehow someone who's watching doesn't know who these guys are, they are probably the big dogs of Australian old world scene. They started it all. We've been following
great term, big
time.
dog.
Yeah, they are the big dogs. For sure. We'll put a link in the description to our 1,000 fantastic subscribers that are mainly based in Spain, but I'm sure they'll appreciate the Australian content. But we've got a lot to talk about tonight because we're all going to this Oldhammer, the next installment of the Oldhammer tournament, Winter Warfare, which is a 40-player tournament in Sydney next weekend. And the lists have just been revealed, and there's some good chats to be had, I reckon. There's some spread out, hard competitive lists, some middle of the road lists, and some fun lists. So we'll get into a few of them, and then see where it takes us, because there'll be plenty to go on. But I suppose we'll get stuck into the nitty gritty of it from the start, I reckon, because when the list dropped, there was a little bit of a reaction to one list in particular, who's a friend of you guys. I think you can kind of provide some context for us. Actor, who's a big name in the scene.
he's just everyone's favourite friend. And I mean, is there anyone more Warhammer Australian than Actor? I don't know.
Well, give us the context.
I think he's done
like me.
I don't know how many
I haven't played. Like, this is essentially my first edition of Warhammer. I played when I was 8.
Yeah.
And then have come into the old world. But you guys have known Actor for a long time. Give us his background, because a lot of people know him.
I don't know if we're qualified for that. Andrew might have more because he's played him more in 9th Age. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'll hit how I know him, and then obviously Gomo could just add on to that. But yeah, obviously when 8th died, there was quite a competitive scene around Newcastle and Sydney with 8th to a certain degree. And a couple of guys were like that ETC level. And then when that died, 9th Age came out. There's quite a few drivers driving 9th Age in Australia, mainly the competitive tournament scene guys, because as you know, 9th Age was mainly designed around tournaments. And then, just Actor used to sort of float around in there in that ETC high level, coming first in almost every tournament. It's sort of where I know him from. Then, just bounced into him a few times. Got,
Yeah. And like, I don't know, you like probably that 8th scene. Obviously, I didn't play any tournaments pre-8th either, like same as... Andrew, when did you start playing tournaments? Was it 8th as well?
Yeah.
It was? Yeah. So, I think just up in Newcastle, we had a few fairly high-level competitive players, probably more from the Cessnock area, like Cessnock Slayer guys. And so a couple of them were on ETC a couple of years. Obviously, Kendall has played a lot of Masters as well, who now organises Castle Salt. So there's sort of that crowd, and obviously when they all come up from Sydney and stuff, they were there, Actor and all that sort of stuff. And then I was following. I don't know, you guys remember, the Dwellers below and all those guys when they were running their big podcast back in 8th, Obviously, they were all on those teams. So, I mean, I am not qualified at all to tell you the full background of how long Actor has been playing for. But if you look at any competitive rank and flag game, I think he's always been involved somewhere. And it's no surprise he's back in Old World as well. I believe he still was twiddling around in 9th Age there for a bit, but it feels like he's coming over.
Yeah. Well, this is his first time at Oldhammer, and he's got a clear intention to win it. You'd expect with this list.
Well, you guys know the joke that he said the other day on, he's already booked a flight to the Masters, even though he's outside of the ranking.
Yeah.
And I love it because, like, no one would ever take that the wrong way. You would never take that as a sign of arrogance. It's just he hasn't played as much games, so now he's like, I'll throw him a hat in the ring again, and no doubt we'll get in the top 20. So
Yeah. Well, he's
So do you
borderline.
guys think, like, so his list is a thing of beauty in the abstract. So Paddy and I have done videos on the Royal Guard list. We've done a lot on SBot too that sort of threw up this type of list. And I think, like, I'll still hold a candle that it's the best list in the format in the abstract. But when you see 84 skeletons, what do you think? Like, straight away?
getting close to the fluff that we need bigger ones. I mean, like when you think of Warhammer, you think of just skeletons everywhere. So I love it.
Because Scotty, you only took 40. You took 40. I feel like that was more of a like for the people.
Yeah, mine's a baby unit. So
why did you take 40? Was it because of the new, like those sorts of rumors at the time? Because we might talk about comp, maybe not, but those rumors about the changes in the General's Handbook.
No, mine list for. I mean, we can get to mine later, I guess. But mine was just wanting to play with a few more other little toys in there as well, and then I don't know. I sort of felt I'm the type of guy. I probably wouldn't take 80 or 100. Just like I don't know. Like I'm not out to actually try and like min max it to the max, if you know what I mean. So I just thought 40 was a good amount. It can act like a bit of a roadblock when you need it as well. And and I obviously wanted to fit the Necro Sphinxes in, whereas I don't think Akhtar's got none of that, has he?
No,
maybe one. I think it's one. It's the Scorpions.
Yeah, it's 2 Scorpions and
he's got one Necro Sphinx. Okay, yeah. He's cut back on his gummy snakes or whatever he had last time. He's only running 3 of them.
Okay.
The gummy snakes.
So
I don't know if gummy skeletons. You never know.
I don't know if we have time for the gummy snakes. But so this list is, as Alex kind of mentioned, it's probably the strongest list, like in that tier going around in the competitive scene online in Warhol as well, a variation of this. So, but he's running Mort Cult, which is everyone's favorite. With level 4, 2 level 2s, 3 Necros, 84 skeletons with poison, 3 Tomb Swarms, 2 Skeleton Chariots, 2 Tomb Scorpions, 8 Ushabti, and a Necro Sphinx. And he's come up. He's in a grudge, right?
Yeah.
With Simon.
Yeah, Simon's grudge.
Wow, I wish we could live stream
which was benevolent.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Much appreciated.
Yeah. It was.
It also might be really
although Andrew, you and I were out of that equation already, so I wish they could second round grudge them, but
Yeah, I am definitely glad to not be playing these guys in the first round, that's for sure. Because Simon's got a similar kind of list. Level 4, so double level 4. Night Goblin Big Boss. 30 Night Goblins with 3 Fanatics. 59 Night Goblins, 3 Fanatics. 3 Trolls, which is objective based, you'd think, which is cool. A Goblin Chariot, 6 Night Goblin Squid Hoppers, 7 Squid Hoppers, 6 Boar Boys, 2 Doom Divers, a Rock Lubber, and 2 Mangler Squigs. So this one, it's interesting. Like, it's like going 80% of the way. 60 is a lot of poison shots, but they're
weird, because I've noticed a lot more higher placing orc. I don't think I could play that list. I reckon I'd get run over because I just don't know. Even though I love orcs, I don't know how to use like all these random movers so far. I haven't played enough.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing a lot more at the higher level. Some of these type of lists pop in, especially with either one or double Mangler. Obviously, the
Mangler's very good. Yeah.
Obviously backed by these Night Goblin units with Fanatics and Spider and Poison. So, and obviously Quacky is a freaking good player. So even though, like, if I didn't know who was playing, I'd look at those 2 lists and go, "Oh, I've got more Cult's going to, potentially blow it off the board." I don't know if that's Quacky's a good player.
With Terrors below, you should be able to annihilate the Night Goblin units. I reckon if you just pop up, they'll take their test.
Yeah.
Surely that's the difference.
Yeah, but but he doesn't have any. He's got no unit strength on that. There's not going to be too much, is there? He's only got the 2 Scorpions and.
Well, if you get the 60 the 60 Night Goblins.
Yeah, they don't all
Terror Below
take...
is-
Tomb Scorpion.
No, Terror Below only does your unit strength that you're coming up at.
Oh, does it? Okay. Well, so that's what I think Akhtar brought up, like the idea that if you don't have in the chat, if you don't have the tools, you might as well bring an iPad. Do you think that sort of attitude is great for a tournament?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean that you just sit back and don't engage? Is that what you mean?
It's just getting
Yeah, well, I
Oh yeah,
talked to
the
Paddy,
master at that, I reckon.
our mutual friend, the godfather of the pod, Mike Bastow, tried to build an ethereal list once, and he ended up selling it. He's had a baby recently, you know how it is.
Yeah.
So the idea here is, well, if I turned up with an ethereal list, what would you do in the first round? Now, Andrew, you'd probably be all right, but if you're not a Warriors of Chaos player or a Vampires player, like, what do you do in that instance? Is it unplayable, and what obligation do you have in a 2-player game to come with a list that's going to have a game in a game that takes 3 hours?
I don't know. It depends on what the ethereal list looks like, I guess. Like if it's all little things.
So like triple Spirit Host, Black Coach, Hex Wraiths, Necromancer with Cloak of Mist and Shadows, 2 Tomb Banshees. I mean, I guess you can't get much ethereal out of core, but
I mean, in my list, I'd probably hopefully I'd have to just try and magic missile a few of those off, but that's about all I can really do. But or pop it with combat res eventually. But yeah, I don't know.
Because they're running, what's it called, Paddy, online? There's a Teams event. It's sort of like the WTC.
I think it is WTC just online. The one that...
It's just an incredible... Yeah. So incredible situation where they had this sort of flare up with trying to navigate all these international countries, which is well worth knowing the backstory to. But on top of that, the guy who's 5-0, Channers, I think you might have seen, he's turned up on the Dawi channel a few times talking about high elves and vampires. He's undefeated and he's playing ethereal. So in a team's context, I imagine, but I don't know for sure, I haven't looked into it, they'd probably just get him and it's clever, but I mean, God, what a waste of time. Imagine playing against it. You'd just be like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So do you just concede? I don't know.
Yeah, because I think that's part of team's game where it's like some matchups will be like that, and I think it's like, you know, it's like we just talked about yesterday on our Mordheim podcast. Some of the fun isn't actually the game; it's the after game, and in teams, it's also the pre-game and the matchup part. So again, you got to come at it with a different opinion, like mindset. I think, you know. And then just get that 1 point win. That's probably what they're going for. You know, make that one mistake where I can get an 11-9, and then I've done my job.
Yeah.
Do you reckon you guys have been talking on your pod a bit recently, and a lot of Australian community has really, about comp and, you know, win at all costs, and the, you know, how welcoming the scene is to new players. Do you think tournaments like Oldhammer are now just at the state that we have to accept this, like Akhtar's list, for example, which I think most people, like for me, and I think I don't think I'm in the minority in terms of who's turning up to these tournaments with like a day to play Warhammer. I get 3 games. I don't necessarily think, well, I'm definitely not looking for the opportunity to be someone's kind of like roadblock to Masters.
Yeah.
I'm there to play 3 games of Warhammer that are competitive, but I'm not fully into the Masters thing. I think the rankings thing is great, and I love stats and I love tracking something. But when you're getting caught up in the full competitive side of this stuff, like, I don't know, 2.5 hours for me on a Saturday, that's brownie points down the drain.
I guess my mindset of this was like, if I got paired with Akhtar straight up, even though, and I was like, I just wanted 3, not easy games, but yeah, like, you know, like middle of the run games.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of going, okay, well, what can I, you know, I don't know, what can I learn out of this game? Because especially someone like Akhtar, he is going to help more than hinder when he plays. I don't know how many times you played him, Andrew. Like, I find him pretty good to play.
Yeah.
Well, you'll learn a lot, and so I don't know. It's not just all an ass kicking. Do you know what I mean? So I would I think the scene, at least from what I've seen, I know we've talked about a few of, the win at all cost people and you run into them, but I think it's pretty rare. I think you can always enjoy and take something positive out of it if you've got the right mindset. And look, I would say if you do run into someone like this list and they wipe you out, you're probably not playing those type, hopefully, especially in a 40-person talk. Like that's a good thing with
Yeah, true.
Oldhammer now. It's into the size that you can at least end up on the middle tables, maybe. Don't know if that's very what you want to hear, but that's what ends up happening.
Whatever you think.
Yeah.
I found.
What do you reckon?
I found the. This is. Can you guys see this?
Channers.
This is the all ethereal list that's going around in the WTC Open online. So this is. We spoke to Daenerys, who I think. Can't remember if you guys spoke to him or not, but he's the Aussie guy who won the first SBOT.
Yeah.
And he's part of this in a non-Australian team because Australia didn't get a team together. So this is essentially like the first World Cup, I suppose, outside of SBOT. And it's full teams, pairings. But this is that list that Alex is talking about. 2 Mortis Engines, 2 Tomb Banshees, a White Lord, 25 Grave. Is this it, Alex? Oh, so is it all ethereal? No, it's just the...
No, it's just that it's got
ethereal
elements that are enough ethereal to be... Like, you can't do it.
And the only
it's like hex rates are ridiculous.
Yeah. And the unit that isn't ethereal is going to sit there and grind through a 25 Grave Guard and...
So he's the only undefeated guy. Let's see if I can find Daenerys actually while we're here.
He's 4-0-1, so he drew the last one. He was 4-0.
He should be.
Pasha's going pretty good too up there. Luna's
he's doing well. Luna's
well.
So
she was doing really well.
This is,
and I would actually take her list if we had more time. And I mean, this is atrocious, and Christian will accept that
version of his
126, 136.
Well, didn't he start this?
It's a
Was it Daenerys who started the?
Yeah, definitely. It was him.
Yeah. He can't lose out to that now. He's got a reputation to uphold.
That's right. He's got to ride it out. So who drew with him? Sorry, we're kind of getting very sidetracked.
Whoever they played last round.
Beastman? Yeah.
It's been going forever. I think they all try to get a draw.
Yeah.
Go Skull
Chaos Furies. Anyway, sorry.
Are they playing straight out of the book, or is that one with Renegades? I don't know how they're playing that one. What's
I don't know. I actually think it's straight out of the book because there were elements like the Plague Drone shouldn't. Weirdly, in Renegade, they're in rare. I don't want to spoil too much. Actually, we can because on the list that Alex Earl won an event. Look, we can talk about it later, but the standards factor in this event, I would have loved to have played Demons and started down that track.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't find the standard bearers after I played a few games and sort of decided that I needed more standards. And in the Renegade pack, Plague Drones are rare only, and they're really good in this tournament.
I was close to bringing my Demons for this because I just think a bit of fun. But
I wish I had more balls to do it. Like I painted it up, had a Keeper of Secrets. I mean, in terms of classy, but I probably table 22 class,
Gomo, do you want to run us through some of the selections you made in your list? So you've got it's pretty similar.
Yeah, so when we were driving back from Moab, not Moab, was it Moab? Where did we go? Kept getting confused.
Shicon.
Not Moab, Shicon. We were just talking about what would go well at 25%. And it's like anything. When you go 25% characters, you sort of go, well, what are the things that might stand out in there? And goblins came up because I was like, well, 25% total characters. I could still have a lot of goblins, which is obviously what Quocky's done. But then, so it was just a matter of, there's obviously going to be less lords. You're either going to have a good lord or good magic. And that's when I hadn't played Mort Cult yet. And I thought, well, if you remove the dragon element, you can easily fit a lot of magic still in it. That's when I just decided. And I hadn't played Mort Cult. It was more around that. It was just like, it's time to get them back out and have a play. And this list doesn't play that much different to what I was running in Grand Army without the dragon, but just way more magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I did it. So that's got the elements of the terror bombing if you need it. Obviously with necromancy and the screaming skull, with Casket of Souls, but 2 Necrosphinxes as well, because you don't have dragons. Well, there might be less dragons, but now you've still got 2 Necrosphinxes running around. And correct me if I'm wrong, but do I care if someone's in a tower? Can't I just fly in there and butcher their 10 unit strength?
Yeah.
Necrosphinxes?
You can,
Like,
you
can't
can
take
fight
it, but you can
can't
kill
take
them.
it, but you can clear it. Yeah.
well, I also can shoot anyone in there
Yeah.
and hit them on 5 up. So
Yeah.
like Akbar's going to nail whoever's sitting in those 2 towers. They're going to die in 2 turns. You know?
Yeah.
If he's going first, yeah.
Yeah.
If he's going,
so-
or if he's going second, he doesn't have much to take the towers unless his priest running.
yeah,
at
but
the
I mean,
end,
if you
but-
kill it, it's. I don't know. I'm sort of thinking. I haven't looked at all this, but I was like, could you get to the point where you just wipe out anyone who wipe their elements that can't take them, and then you just plod along? Like I've
But
got
it's
my
probably
little
worth
unit
saying.
there. I'm going to butcher that unit down to 3 when I need to, and then just let it go in.
Oh yeah, you can just
Yeah.
sacrifice 2 of them and then
You
go
can.
take it. That's awesome.
But I think that's the thing that, like, the turn 6, I mean, I guess with the grudges, and Andrew and I can talk about that, but like it sort of takes the first scenario is very different from the second and third. And Paddy and I have been sort of fortunate enough to play all of them. And that third one is going to distort the way you play a lot. Like, how many standards have you got, Gomo? You've got 4?
3, yeah.
So if you play as someone who's got 8, you're gonna that 3 battle points is 750 kill points. It's massive.
Yeah.
So like that's axe work. Like you really have to go hell for leather to get that done. So yeah, that's been the most interesting thing to me about the list. We thought after we did the warm up event where Alex won with demons, but the 2 players who scored the most battle points just had watered up dragons, so to speak. They still got the most kill points in terms of best general. But underneath that, what you'll see is like, yeah, it's really difficult if you don't have the standards to get those. You can still lose the scenario even if you're just massacring people.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, I've got 4, I think. But does that mean as long as you get 1 in there, you get 1, and they might get 3, but it's only a difference of 2 then?
So
It'd be 4-1 if they get 1 in 2.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll
I think
get 1
to
as well.
understand-
Yeah.
The difference.
That's what I find happens. It's like 4-1. I don't know, Paddy, if you think that too, but the ones I've played, it's been 4-1 or 3-1.
Mike and I drew, but like we were hunting each other. We didn't have a lot of standards. Like I learned that I needed to bring more standards to Old Hammer when I played that game because I would have turned a draw into a 14-10.
Yeah. Okay.
Just by having 1 more standard, and you can just hide them. And I think this is the interesting thing about this comp, which we've been raving about for a while, the objective-based system, rather than saying you can't bring this, instead like making people alter their lists to fit the pack. And I think that these, particularly the first one for me and the last one, are the ones that can kind of level the playing field against those lists, like Act does. Even any Tomb King list, essentially, that we're playing against in this tournament, doesn't have a lot of standards. And if you just have more, then you can turn it. But the standards thing, I think, is going to be very, very real. But I wanted to check. I've never played with or against Tomb Kings. Is this an automatic inclusion in every single list? Double Tomb Scorpion, double Necrosphinx.
Well, with All True Cult, you have to have 2 Scorpions. So.
You have to have 2 Tomb Scorpions.
Yeah, just in case you needed a helping hand.
Yeah. You have to have 2
Just
of them.
want to read it.
But you can see Actor didn't take 2 Sphinxes, so it's not auto inclusion.
I just find it like the most efficient. What's that? 400, 500 points in Warhammer. It's incredible.
The Necro Sphinx is like the giant cow spawn. Like it's just they're so good for their point costs.
Yeah, and the other thing I'm trying to learn, I don't play enough with them, and I don't play enough. So, but like, if you just throw them willy nilly, they'll die sometimes. Like I've gone in Andrew's things, go, oh fuck, he's just gonna wipe, and like his dude wipes my guy because I'm dumb, and I've only got initiative 1. So even when you come in, you only have initiative 4. So you can lose them if you're stupid. But because obviously they're fly tough sticks and all that crap, if you worst case, you just you hold them back a bit until they go in and wipe things out, and they're just they're point stents in that regard, keeping their they're keeping their points safe. You know what I mean? That's what I've got to work with them.
I'm dreading my first game against Tomb Kings, and I think
I'm 1-0.
I mean, if you're hanging around with your, in range of your Arise, and you got 3 wizards, and you can put 3 wounds back on the thing straight away, I mean that's just heartbreaking. For someone who's just been blocked.
Yeah, it is heartbreaking. That is a good term for it. Andrew and Alex, you're grudged, right?
Woo.
So your first round up. You've got a cool ass list, Andrew, if I don't say so myself.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about me. Like, yes, Paddy, why don't I expound upon all of the...
No, it's Andrew's time to shine, because this is creative and it's cool. I don't think many people would have seen vampire counts played like this. So why don't you run us through the idea of it?
So this is like very similar, I think, to my play styles that you guys might have seen or might have seen through my lists with High Elves. I like a fast list. It's just, to me, it's kind of like, the dance with the units. Like I like that bit. Like that's my favorite part. Other than that, I don't really, that's as far as my sort of tactical thing goes. Just try and get in flanks, and then watch your opponent sort of like question, should he sort of like turn to face the flank or stay like forward, sort of thing. Like that's just that's about as far as my tactics go. And then this is why I sort of like these lists. So you kind of need something really strong. And obviously with the 25-point allowances, you guys know, it gets really tight between having a good caster or a combat sort of lord. So I decided I'll just go down, because I do like something fast. I'm like, I'll just go the combat lord, just give me a bit of punch. So I've gone a Strigoi Ghoul King. He needs to be a wizard to be the general. But he's only a level 1 wizard, and that is my entire... That's everything I got magic-wise.
Is that the lowest you've gone, apart from playing dwarves? Like in a tournament?
No, I've taken one of these before.
Okay.
Because sometimes if you just go combat, and you just go heavy shooting or heavy combat or heavy magic, like they've all got their own sort of bonuses. So sometimes you can just say, oh yeah, you just have the magic phase. I don't care.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what I've done here. So yeah, he's on a Terrorgeist running the Ogre Blade. That's pretty much all his points into the Ogre Blade, and he's just running battle magic.
You're ahead of the curve, Andrew, because that's what it's going to be like once those rumors come out and the Ogre Blade's 75 points. So you just
get it while it's hot.
It's tough, but it's not. These guys can pop pretty quick if you get the wrong combo into them, and they're terrible against shooting. So hopefully I don't hit Akdar's list, because I've only got a 6-up, 5-up regen. So Alex is going to have fun with his magic missiles. But anyway, we'll get into...
Yeah.
He can explain that, how he's going to kill me. Running a White Lord on a steed with the Charm Shield, just to unlock Black Knights into core. I didn't even have enough points to make this guy a BSB, so he's like literally just there to unlock core.
Does a White Lord unlock Black Knight? It's Graveguard.
And or.
Yeah.
No, or.
Oh, or. One or the other?
Yeah.
Right.
But it's all right. It's enough. Yeah.
Well, you either go infantry, and I'm like, everyone runs the big Graveguard block. I might try that later, but for the moment, I just want something quick and just to have a bit of fun with. So yeah, 9 Black Knights. As you know, Black Knights, they're not the greatest, but we'll see how they go. So just running Charm Shield again on full command Charm Shield. I've got like 4 of them in this list. And he's running the standard of Hellish Vigor, so they get reserved move, because these guys can't march. And I doubt this is probably going to be the biggest problem I've got is if I do have something that takes away my flying, I'm really slow. I think Alex has got one of them. And if somebody can destroy or not allow me to take any sort of magic or cast any spells, which isn't going to be hard, being a level 1, I'm just going to be really mobile. So this is pretty important that I've got reserve move on at least these guys. I'm running 2 units of 10 Crypt Ghouls, 2 units of 5 Dire Wolves, another 2 units of 5 Black Knights, both with Charm Shields, full command, so more standards there. I'm running another Terrorgeist. I wasn't too sure what to do here, but I thought I might just need some support with my other Terrorgeists. So, I mean, spoiler, I might run them both around together just as a bit of
Fun.
Yeah, bit of fun. So I think one of them are quite easy to handle, but if you got sort of 2 of them, you might sort of scare people a little bit. And then, running a black coach. I'm only running this because it seems like heaps of people are running them, and I'm trying to work out why they're running them. So I'm going to bring it along and see how it goes, you know?
It feels good, the black coach. It feels really good, I think. It's ethereal, isn't it? And it's
Yeah, I've got one printing.
Nice.
It can be ethereal.
So
can't get the impact hits. Like if the combat's drawn or, you know, something happens, it kind of doesn't do anything. Like it's got no real punch once the impact hits are done. So I was just a little bit worried about, you got to be real careful what combats you put it into. But like you said, it's ethereal, fly 10, which, well, unfortunately I might not be able to fly, but we'll see how that goes. And then
hopefully not.
Sorry?
Hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not flying.
We'll talk about the odds later.
Yeah. And then 3 Vargeists again. If I don't have fly, I'm in trouble here. But yeah, I rate Vargeists a lot. I know a lot of people don't, but I think they, fly 9 or whatever. And then they're frenzied, I know that, and skirmishes. So you've got the issues with those. But besides that, they got like 4 attacks, AP2, Armor Bane 2, Strength 5. They die to shooting like anything, like magic missiles. But besides that, I think they're just really quick and real punchy.
They can are they infantry, monstrous infantry, so they can can capture the tower as well, which is important. Did you consider the objective-based comp for your list building? So you got 3 units of standards with the Vargeists in there to capture the tower. You just like them.
I sort of went with Gomo's sort of idea of maybe just taking the tower out of it. I was looking at putting infantry in, and then that's why I've got the 2 units of ghouls. So I'm like, I'll just put 2 units of 10 ghouls, and they're just going to be... Ghouls are pretty good in themselves, but they were going to be my tower holders if I can get in there.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't throw the Vargeists in there. That attack a tower, but I probably just wouldn't have them static in a tower.
Yeah, well, you've Alex, who's your grudge opponent. Whoops, let me search it up here. You're running.
Did I initiate the grudge? I just want psychological.
Yes. I think we spoke about it previously.
Because I haven't actually. I glanced at yours because you obviously got in. Did you wait till the book dropped? Like, is that what you did?
I sort of, like most of us, had. We started getting the leaks pretty early, so I was happy to put it in early.
You were pretty set on Warriors of Chaos, though, weren't you? Going
100%, yeah. Like
Arcane Journal drops.
It'll be all over the channel for both of you guys. Actually, Gomer, you're a subscriber. Thank you. I'm sure you're tuned in, but I was onto Warriors, and I think that's like sort of what I want to go back to with the whole. When we talked about the lists early. That I've played super hard lists. I think last Old Hammer I played one, and it just felt like it was a bit of a one-player experience. And at the same time, like I don't want to turn up with something rubbish that I've got no play with. And when Paddy smashed me with the Warriors, I was playing Lizardmen. I thought I'll bring back Lizardmen. Skinks were good. Slan was good, but it just was underwhelming. So I thought that seems pretty good. It's that sort of all-comers vibe. Paddy had built this Demon Prince that I liked at 25%. Warriors were really good there too. with good special choices. So
good Demon Prince.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've nailed it, Paddy. Like, it's been a meme for the channel to go through the amount of combustible Demon Princes we've been through. It's like a sort of assembly line where we've just sort of come to like the 5th version, and Paddy crushed me with one, and I was ready to play that. But I don't know, I find Warriors boring, and I've painted up all these Beastmen for the last 3 months with contrasts, and thought, okay, if it's any good, I'll have a look. But then once I saw the Herdstone, I was like, absolutely, like, this is a different way to play. It's sort of like the list is now this hodgepodge. Paddy sort of gives it good raps, but I think it's pretty thin, to tell you the truth. But when I was talking about that sort of stuff at the start, it's important for me when I play that I feel like I got a chance to win. I'd rather go into 3 games where I'm a 40-60 dog than have 2 games where I'm 80-20 and another game where I'm 5-95. And that's what I'm worried about. So I've got, all the tricks. I've got the no fly thing. I've got the no shoot thing. But I don't have a rank bonus, I think, to save my life. And the Herdstone's going to be a lot of fun, probably a lot of talking through what it does. But ultimately, it's all the tricks and not, I don't know. We'll see how much action it has on the day. But worried, like I always want something too, like that I can kill dragons with. So the Viletide Shaman is just like good to see Gomo repping Magic Carpet. I thought I put one on a Magic Carpet. I thought I was going to be so cute, but it sounds like, Gomo, you might upstage me.
The Beastmen Arcane Journal to me as a Wood Elf player was like soul crushing.
What as a High Elf player? It's been 6 months of drudgery, and then you get the Beastman one's good.
The amount of tricks you get, and the Herdstone, man, 100 points I can't get from you. That gives mostly only you advantages,
and you can't take it.
I can't, like, it just completely alters the game state, which is like Beastmen needed some fun, so I'm happy they got it. I'm only dirty because I didn't get it first, I suppose.
I think it's great. I don't know if it's like, I worry that some, like with Armies of Infamy, are they just doing what AOS is and sort of reducing things into factions and then saying, well, we'll emphasize this? But I feel like the terrain piece, which I think is an AOS thing too, is quite good. Like if there was a Grail Chapel, or I mean, I guess Britannia doesn't need any help, but if there was something like that, I do think when people see the Herdstone played, it is very unusual, like how it works, and it changes the game in a big way.
Yeah, I honestly don't think the old world team are building arcane journals for competitive mindsets or anything at all. They're doing it for fun and fluff. It's just some of them are fun and powerful, and some of them are floppy and shit. But so that's just how they come out, I think. I think it's just us looking at it through the competitive mindset where we're like, oh shit, we didn't get the tools we wanted, But it's like they're not looking at it from that point of view, I think.
Totally.
Which is, I think, good.
It's definitely good. Yeah, you go.
Sorry, I was just going to ask Alex. So, going from Warriors of Chaos, you said you were getting bored with that, and here you've got like a bit more shooty MSU to a certain degree. It's a lot more sort of dynamic play style. Is that one you wanted? Just something a bit more dynamic, not so.
I think it's what I'm trapped in.
Something with a hammer.
So my favorite pod. No offense, Paddy, but I think when Alex Searle and I did The Losers, the first one we tried to put on Spotify, to me that was like I'd been on a pretty good run and I just got crushed at this tournament where
it was our own tournament, wasn't it?
Yeah, like I turned up and I'd won 2 practice games and had flogged people. Like if John, you're listening, like I flogged him. I took down a dragon with Viletides. I'd gone over to Michael's house and just destroyed him with his Steed of Shadows onto an objective.
Oh, running!
Even though I rolled it. Yeah, like, and it was like, oh, this list is great. And then I played this MSU Beastman list, and none of the rules really work the way that they used to work, where if you threw 3 units into a ranked unit, you'd just win, and that was sort of the skill of the game. And that's sort of what I'm worried about. Well, not worried about, but I think Old World's a different game, and there's been a lot of videos from us recently on Fabigo and how big a deal for Bygo really is, and it's like almost good when you fall back in good order. So yeah, I think it's funny that like I played Warriors and I put up the battle report today where I played Michael Ockett at his house, and he, I think, outplayed me, but I won because of the scenario points. But I was way too passive because I played them like I play High Elves.
Yeah.
Same thing. I think I've built a High Elf Beastman list. Like, it's just, I like playing, here's my big thing, here's my, and it's funny to think that way because I think when we think about comp, and I ran a tournament 2 weeks ago with this where I think that's part of the game, that like you can turn up and you can win in an abstract way, but like a very small percentage of people have multiple armies. Like we're probably some of those people. Paddy, you can argue that you're now with your Skaven purchase in that circle of the 3+ army people, but most people have 1 to 2 armies. Yeah. They have some sort of like identity wrapped up in that army, and they're sort of trapped by whatever the tournament is. So if you don't like Tomb King's Bretonnia, or I'd argue like a Warded Up Dragon, you're probably coming in at a disadvantage once we get really competitive. So what's the place for them? Like, luckily for me, I probably like I've painted up a Bretonnian army and I could get around with pegs with 360 March and be pretty happy. But if you're just playing, say, Skaven, for example, and you got gypped by the whole move into Old World, well, how do we reintegrate that person? What if they want to play competitively? Is there a way to bring them back in? I don't know. It's like, I don't think the tournament I ran, it was very mixed, even though people had a great time. And what I was trying to do was very mixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, there's a couple of points there, isn't there? I mean, the whole legacy thing's a whole kettle of fish. I don't know. It's like, even when we get this match play and the new FAQ and all that, I feel like the more they patch the game, is that gonna further push legacy back? Because if they're not like including that in the thought process or the patching, so that's going to be, I
used to be fully out on legacy coming back, but I am now buying into the success of the Old World. Like, I don't think it's some massive blockbuster success, but I think it has performed better than expected. Maybe I'm just too dialed in, but I think there's too much love for the legacy stuff that eventually they'll run out of their planned Old World release, and they're like, well, what do we do now? And then they'll just go, sure, vampire counts. I mean, that's the way to get them back in.
Yeah, like they've shown that they're going to sell 9 old plastic kits from 20 years ago. Why wouldn't they sell another 5 of them or whatever? You know what I mean? Once they know that Cathay's out and then, vamps are all done.
People bought them. People bought them.
Beast packs. Wood Elf. I'm on the Wood Elf Discord all the time, and people
actually
what a miserable place that must be right now. Poison could be on its way out.
I saw comments today on the Warhammer, that big group on Warhammer. Because obviously, like in Old World rankings, I think there's like, I don't know how many people. There's like 5,000 or something worldwide players logged on there at the moment. But that's not a lot of Europe. So even when you add that in, how many actual competitive players are there in this game? And then you add the hobbyists. And so then you look at that group on Facebook. Is it 40,000 people or something in that group or something like that?
Might be
so there must be so many in there that are just like, they don't actually touch the game. They don't do anything with it. And then they just whinge when something comes out. And they'll whinge. One dude was just saying like, I'm so down on it because it's all old stuff. And then I thought to myself, but they had to resurrect like a game that had been, put away in the thing and then in 18 months, it's all out, at least the 9 factions. Like in hindsight, it's a friggin' smart business move. It's like, let's just bring out the shit we know will sell and doesn't cost us a lot. Now that we've done that, now let's start launching new shit. So I've got no doubt in like another 5 years, you'll see so many new plastic kits, so many new plastic armies. But how could they ever bring it out without doing that? Like, what would they do? They can't not. What would they launch the game with 2 new plastic sets and that's it? You only got 2 factions to play. Like that was the other alternative.
Like, I'm a nerd, I can say it, but like nerds have got to be like some of the most unhappiest, like, like Star Wars or Star Trek. They just get so hung up on like little things. It's like just kind of enjoy what you've got to a certain extent. Like I know we get real nitpicky sometimes, but yeah, it is like that. Like you do get people that are just very nitpicky over.
Yeah, it's just so. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where I was going with that, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, I just think I think we'll see those ones come back. It'll just be intermixed with hopefully some
Yeah.
awesome new ones, depending on what happens at Cafe. I mean,
Yeah.
it might blow the
But
roof
it's
off
going to
the thing, to be
bankrupt.
honest.
It's going to bankrupt people. People are going to lose their
Yeah.
minds. They
Yeah.
really are. Like, I mean, I was
Yeah.
thinking. I think I was playing when I did play the Tomb Kings players. So, Gomo, I don't want to imagine how much it cost you to buy it from GW retail, but I thought, God, this is like over $1,000 on the table because I'm a printer, or I'd prefer to play prints if I can't get GW. But that Cathay stuff, people, and that's where, like, I am a GW hater in terms of rules, but I don't hate them in the sense that, like, what they do has been consistent from day one. Like, since they went corporate, which is a long, long time ago, they have been their mission statement is very clear. They've adhered to the mission statement. They haven't, like,
Well, at least
deviated
they
from
added the
something
community
they
front end. Until they didn't
Well,
add that, they were shitheads. But now
sounds like
they,
a bit of a DEI initiative, but yeah, they've like added a little bit of a flourish, but they're here to make money, and the models are what sell. And when you see a picture of a model, like I looked at that, and I'll probably do a hot take video on Cathay, which I have no interest in buying because I won't be able to afford it. But looking at the models, I'm like, man, I would love to own those models. Like that's all I felt. That's what I felt straight away. I'm like, oh, they have dragons. Forget what I just said about ward saves and regen saves. Like, I can now have 2 dragons or whatever. Or that giant thing looks like it might have Killing Blow and Monster Slayer. But that's what I think. Yeah, like GW are over here, and it's great to have them to blame for things that go wrong. And I don't know, like, I'm not as convinced by the new rumors as other people. Like, obviously, they've said there's this handbook coming.
Yeah.
But there was that first wave of rumors that were more general. The new ones are a little bit more specific. But it is incredible that, it's just, that's what they do. They sell great looking models, that take hours to assemble. It might not be for me, but for 95% of people, that's what they do.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, reality is, unless you are like us who are trying to do 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 armies, like going back to your point that there's a lot of people who probably just afford one. I mean, like with anything in business, you look at like, it's like cost, your lifetime value for a particular client and stuff like that. Like they would be this is a pretty good business model where out of one person, like as in a B2C model where you're selling to the public, you could be easily pulling, I don't know, what do you reckon? Even conservatively, what would you spend on Games Workshop a year?
Don't say it out loud. We talked about this
Games
today,
Workshop,
Paddy,
though, like Games Workshop specifically.
Is the wife listening?
Yeah.
That's right. I'm very far away.
But imagine if that's only $2,000, right? And I reckon it's probably, it's probably, let's say it's
a bit more,
$2,000.
maybe.
That if you went to a business who sell to business and said, I'm going to sell $2,000 per year to this, like a software business, I'm going to sell a license for $2,000 a year. That's a pretty good sale. And yet businesses only can sell X amount because they're selling to businesses. They're selling to like kids and like, they're 40K. I mean, geez, how many people would buy 40K stuff? It must be. No wonder they make hundreds of millions of pounds there in profit. Yeah. It's an awesome business model. And I don't begrudge them at all for that, like they wouldn't be here because the game would not be here if it hadn't gone corporate. Because look at all the other ones that go, the War Machines, the friggin' X-Wings, all that. They come.
Yeah, well, I loved War Machine as a game, but as you're saying, Gomo, like it's the business model that Games Workshop has stuck to, has persevered, and even now when I can't stand assembling them, but I dropped today one of a Khan Wraith. It just bounced beautifully. It just sort of popped up, sat on its 25 square base, and looked at me like, you can't find the pieces of those printed High Elf sisters when you tried to print 50 of them at once. And I just picked it up and I put it back. And I thought, far out, they know where their market is for sure. And for us, like we've sort of piled on Acta and Simon early on, but that's a small minority of those lists at this event. And I would argue that the vast majority of people who upcoming. Like, there's a guy with Imperial Ogres and Imperial Dwarves in the same list. If you had one, you would have got my fluff points, but he's got both in the same army. And like, he's probably buying them, Matthew, if you're out there, let us know, at full retail.
Is it
like, he's probably got the full model, which is...
well?
I don't know, but I saw on Facebook today, like I saw, there's Badland Ogres. Oh, that'd be good for Oldhammer. They're $200.
Oh, I've got to use my new one. That's cool.
Oh, Hans. Sorry, I forgot that. It's the same guy. He's got Hans as well.
23 Chuchin Guard.
This was bought retail. This is an expected army.
Oh, man. That is incredible.
I think it will be. I would fully expect this is Games Workshop. Like maybe Oldhammer models, this feels, and I could be completely
wrong. Have a war wagon?
Totally just no war wagon. He has a steam tank.
Maybe he wants one made out of gold or something, and it's going to just wait for it.
It's crazy. It is the amount of money. Like me looking at that, all that stuff just came out, and I wouldn't even dream of dropping. What would all that cost? Like what? Close to $1,000, easy.
Easy.
If this was a GW army, it's 1,500 plus minimum.
But see, that's why I reckon you got to look at it from their point of view. They're going like, for the people who are going to buy and be invested in our IP, if they're spending Australian $1.5, $2,000 per army, and they might buy one or two armies, max one army a year, maybe every 3 years they've bought 1 to 2 armies. I mean, they're going to just be hooked for the rest of their life, So that's why I don't think the problem that we're going to. And if they can get away with not making as much models per that money, it's better for them. So, yeah. No, this is gonna be
was there, with the changes that have come up then, because I think we looked into this, Paddy, when we sort of started the channel, but you have lore and you have hobby, and then you have the competitive side, and like the overwhelming people into the majority of people into lore, they want the stories. And like, to be honest, Paddy and I are sort of leaning in that direction a little bit more, and have been drawn back into it with our voluminous Wood Elf and Beastman armies.
Yeah.
But on top of that, like, you have hobby, which is that persistent mainstay. Like, I've noticed that on our Discord. I've noticed on other people's Discords that hobby just drips over. But underneath that, the competitive side is there. And as I'm saying, like, probably when you look at those lists, and I'm someone who likes to take a pretty hard list or like a competitively playable list, but I would say I'm in the overwhelming minority of people that most of the lists from Oldhammer are probably 25 out of the 40 players are sort of, these are the units I like. I'm going to take the things that I think are good or have heard are good, but I'm here to sort of, I'll take it, but it's what I've got in my collection. At the same time, do you see that people are going, like, the future of the game, I suppose, with events, how much should it play into, like, these rumors from GW, the comp pack, or do you have to go a separate way and just say, look, really, this is just a meeting place to find people like you, so you can then organize games that you're going to have like the most fun in.
Yeah, I'll let Andrew go because I keep talking. But...
Oh, well, I don't know. Like, it's kind of one of those things. Like, well, where would you actually start? Because you sort of like you highlighted quite a few points there. But I don't know, when you do have sort of like tournaments, and you do have people sort of like, from all walks of life, like it does get quite tricky. And I think this is where everyone is having that, like there's no sort of silver bullet or, fix where you've got that, what do you do like with, comp packs?
You can't please everyone in one tournament.
Yeah. People are having more fluff, and like you're saying, it's like, people are talking more hobby things, this and that. And this isn't just like old world based. This is like, war gaming almost in general, until maybe I've never played Napoleonics, but I'm sure there's people who play that and they've got the exact same problems of what like we do. I think it's just like the type of people, to a sense. Like, it's not so much the scene, but you just do have more competitive people, more hobby focused people. And unfortunately, sometimes tournaments, people just want to play them to get the games in.
Do you reckon
this thing, when you were talking, Alex, I thought to myself, like, the thing that I was thinking about was it's almost all those three all work in unison, and they don't. The game as itself will fall over if one of them doesn't exist at the right level, almost like. And what I mean by that is like almost like the IP or the lore needs to be there. That's what actually creates the fun or the thing that you can think about and build on. The hobby sits above that, but I feel like if you only had lore and hobby, nothing would get done. You would never finish an army. And then suddenly you have an event or something to go to, whether that's narrative or competitive, doesn't really matter. That drives you to get out of your house, go find someone to play or whatever, and then get your hobby moving. And then you look at something, again, I won't rip on Ninth Age, but when you rip out the lore IP element and you've only got the tournament and the hobby, if they have really strong hobby,
Yeah.
it's never taken off because it doesn't have that underlying
Good point.
lore, and you know what I mean. And so we're really lucky to have all of it, and I don't think we can pretend that any of them is actually more important than others. We have to like make sure that we can't do much about the lore, I guess, but that's where we have to thank Games Workshop that they brought it back for a start, and that they actually do. They really hold tight to their lore and their IP, because without that, it sort of sucks the soul out of it. You know what I mean? Like it just becomes a game, and I don't like. Yeah, that's why I don't really like 40K, and so it's turning into a game rather than a war game. If you know what I mean, I'm not here just for chess.
Well, that's what I think about the 84 skeletons. I'm not like trying to push on Actar specifically, because as I said, like I played the watered up dragon at the last event and it was pretty boring. But yeah, it is interesting that once your justifications become abstract, I'm not interested. Like I've said before on this channel, like I play a lot of chess. Chess is very dry. It's just maths in many ways, or it's like a mathematical
There's nothing wrong
mindset.
with that. I'm not
And
saying like this is suck
no,
or
of
anything.
course not. But that's the medium to sort of exercise that. I play 3 minutes, bang, 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 really fast. And like, oh, I lost. I get the dopamine hit, but I win, blah, blah, blah. But with Warhammer, I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, I painted up this guy in a dragon. Like, I want him to be evocative of, like, if he lives or dies, it matters to me a little bit. And that sounds like, I think, Paddy, you brought this up, like as a 40-year-old, well, you're not 40, Paddy, but I am. Right. And I'm getting there. Like in the middle of my 40s. And then I'm like, well, what am I doing with my life? But I find that expression is critical to what I do. So if I turn up and have a game where someone's like salty for 3/4 of the game, or if I turn up and like in the first 2 turns, the game is over, it's the lore that carries me through, you know? Like there's a reason why it happens.
You go back to mindset. I mean, like the fun and the journey is doing that and building this. Like it's fucking, like we've said this on our podcast. You've got to be crazy to paint and buy and paint an army, not and actually understand the rules and go and play. Like we're frigging crazy people. Don't tell me that 1-2 hour and a half game is going to break that. Do you know what I mean, for you? You are well invested in it. So let's not pretend that you walk against Actar, you're going to have a bad time. You're not. You're going to have a good time, because even if your army gets wiped off, I don't know, like you've spent all that time.
Interesting point of view.
Like it's mindset. It's like, this is cool. Like, it might be different if every game you went to was like that and they're all pricks on the other side of the table. That's a different discussion. But I don't really think that's the environment. I've never run into that myself. Like,
something that has always with the old world, there's like baked in disparities between factions and point costings and everything that you just can't ignore, no matter what the comp is. So do you think it's possible to create a tournament without telling people you can't bring that thing, or you can't bring 3 saves? Can you just...
Give me 2 seconds.
Is there actually power in the TOs to be like, this is specific, like this is the parameters, and everyone says the don't be a dick thing, like, and without sending back a list? Do you think it's actually possible to say, here's a tournament, it's not a tournament, it's an event, we want like middle of the road lists, but to have some sort of competitive edge on it, people would always still want to try and win the tournament. So is there any way possible to stop?
People are competitive by nature. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like if you take out all these options, someone's just going to try and find the next one, potentially.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's kind of what we found when we ran a 1,000 point tournament, which had like some comp in it, but naturally people were like, I'm going to bring something strong. and we were trying to create like a fun day, like a full like it was fun day. That sounds bad. It was a fun day, but we were trying to like tone down the power and just have like blitzes, just have like quick games of smash them up. But that's when we learned that the Warhammer player you can't stop them wanting to win, and the list creation tends to be when you win often. And do you reckon there's a way to like separate the guys that want to play, like create tournaments? I think you on your previous episode, you were like ranked and non-ranked tournaments.
That or like seeding people differently or something in tournaments.
Yeah.
I mean, potentially. But I mean, I don't know. We've talked about it, but I don't. Yeah,
it's kind of the unwinnable battle at the moment.
Yeah. I also think, I don't know, like if we turn around right now and the 40 people that are attending Oldham or whatever, and you had the choice to say, I don't want to play, without seeing lists and all that, because you wouldn't know that at the time, like, I don't want to play, the people who are trying to rank. Like, who do you even, A, would you even put your hand up for that? And B, how much of the field would versus not? I don't even know if.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't even happen. Like, you might have the odd person who goes, I don't really want to play that person, but that's about it. I don't know.
Can I throw in a personal experience which might shed some light onto this? I have been, when I first joined and started playing tournaments in 8th and 9th age, I was pushing like wooden spoon, runner-up on so many levels.
Yeah, we qualified for Masters. But,
yeah. Oh, it's a long road. It's a long road. But I was garbage. Like, I was playing like a fluff list, or you come up with some like, I'm going to do this, and it just doesn't. You just don't understand the game mechanics, because after a while you sort of like you get your head around the game. You're like, oh, this is actually the way it works. You kind of got to, do this or do this. I never really understood that. Like, I just play a game, and then somebody flanks me, and then I break, and then he runs into some other combat, and then they break, and I'm just like, oh shit, what the hell happened, sort of thing. But I found between where I used to play in those sort of lower ranked bottom table games, maybe to where I am now, which is like that midish table, it's, if you get towards the mid upper tables and the bottom tables, I found that the player base was very similar. You still get salty people down the bottom. You still get competitive people down the bottom. Still get unhappy people down the bottom. Same as in like mid and up. Like, most people are good. Like, most people are actually fun to play against. This is only like, you have like that one in every 2 or 3 tournaments. You might just have just like a bit of a fun experience with another player.
You won't want to do that one again, that thing. But it wasn't. Yeah.
I've had that across the board. So I don't think that's so much like, I know you're talking about the upper echelons, but I think outside of the upper echelon is, the half dozen people who are going to be the top 10, Masters contenders, if that's what we're going to put them at. I think in between that, everyone's actually mostly pretty good. And I think looking at the lists, that there are quite a lot of, I think if you are looking at bringing some people back a bit, we are only talking about a very small percentage. That's the thing. But like you said, it's not fun having a game, here's your introduction, first game in, you're getting like 28 or something. It's like,
yeah. Do you reckon, so the Masters chat, which I think is good, do you think, I know you guys are thinking, Gomo, I know you're heavily invested in it with ASB and the like, and I know you're thinking about the next iteration of it, the next season and everything. Have you guys considered it just being an open invite for people who want to play uber competitive Warhammer, sign up, and then there's a selection
for
process?
Masters, or you mean for ranked tournaments? Oh, you mean to be ranked? Is that what you mean?
Well, like to go to the Masters tournament, like, which is essentially what is the rankings is for, right? So isn't it like the top 20 get invited to Masters?
Yeah.
naturally those people who want to play competitive end up there because they either play in a lot of tournaments or they win a lot of tournaments. But would you ever just be like, okay, Masters is in Adelaide next year. Anyone who wants to come, send you like an expression of interest kind of thing, and then you fall back to a rankings as a system to like, I don't know, select the people rather than having every tournament contribute to Masters or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I sort of see what you mean. I don't. These guys have organised this stuff way more than me. I don't know if that stuff's been tried in the past. I think it's just, I think I doubt we'd ever have just an open, like the whole point is you want some quantification around, or qualification around, is that person qualified? I think people just like that drives. People like numbers. That's why we like army lists and writing lists, and so I think that you won't take that out. I think there has been some discussion about more tournaments just not being ranked, which is absolutely fine too. We can can always. It's just, I guess it's just the first year. No one probably realized. Then we backdated it as well. Like it kicked off October, but we just, with the votes, everyone just said, just use every game. So we just went all the way back to. So like back in March, you were playing the tournament. You didn't, like last year, you didn't even realize that those points were going towards your rankings. You know, like didn't even exist. So I think in the next year there might be a little bit more. At least us telling the TOs that, hey, do you want that ranked? We will rank it by default, but we'll just turn it off if people don't want it ranked. And then that could help drive some of those uber competitive people to go to another one, for example, maybe, if that's a concern.
Or even just if they realize, like if a lot of the high ranked people like to play a lot of Warhammer, so they could still want to go to these tournaments, but they might test out
play something else.
Play something else. Because for me, we've always said it's a 2-player game. That's kind of like our motto, and generally the social play is good, but when you come up against the bad social play with the fucked list, it's just like some bad times. But
the experience, and like to build on that, Paddy. So I ran an event. When was it? 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I think. What do we get? 10 players, so qualified for Masters. But so I tried this like comp pack, and we did a video on it, which is going pretty well. But it was shockingly bad, like the comp, in the sense that it just created all this friction before the event about people not wanting to, or not being able to take what they wanted to take, and quibbling and emails behind the scenes. Well, is this what tabletop is? And then this is really interesting because, like, just as someone who's a fleggling TO, what the experience is like. Like a couple of weeks.
I didn't realize that was different to Old Hammer's one. Then you had a different compact.
So we ran it so that if you wanted to practice for Winter Warfare, really you weren't going to be disadvantaged. But then we added on some experimental stuff to say, well, we've taken your money. We're going to put some prizes in place for some additional things that we think, might play more like the Warhammer that we'd like to see on the table. And that's probably the first mistake. But it was really interesting because, like, when the list came in, we got 4 Warriors lists, 3 Empire lists. So like, that's not what we were hoping to, like, promote diversity. But what ended up happening firstly was that the list with the worst com score won, which was a Demons list. Alex, if he's out there, played really well. I watched some of those games. It was good. Yeah. And the lists that came second and third were big dragon lists. But I think like it was a complete failure on comp, and I've gone off comp to a great extent. I just think it's too subjective. But what was really good was the issues that I put in, or like the categories I put in for sports. It might sound strange to people if they listen to this and haven't organized a tournament, but we've always been big about, you're 2 adults, you just got to figure it out. Like these rules, more than most other games, are able to sort of say, look, at some point you just roll a 4+ as well. I think rules knowledge is a big part of where the skill is in the game, but you guys have had a lot on your channel, and Andrew's had his survey results where people just want you to take it easy a little bit. And it's very grey. Like, I accept it's a very grey area. But what was really great, so I had 2 things in place that I think worked quite well. The first one was, if you didn't get a result in by the flag fall for the round, you lost battle points. Ooh. So it just forced this idea, look, there's 15 minutes to go. It's turn 4. What's a good result? Instead of, and so that's one side. The second side, which feeds into the same theme, was if you called a judge, you advocate for a point of view. And I've got a bit of a legal background, so this is what's wonderful about our country, is no one's right or wrong. You both put your point of view forward and a judge decides. It's not like some other country where your hand gets chopped off. You get told, well, it doesn't matter as long as we live and let live. If you think, I think you're right, we'll go that way. Yeah. So if I was called to make a decision and I went against you, you lost battle points. And I thought this was pretty tough. And I think in theory it seemed tough, but in practice, what happened, which was really good, was people who play on the edge of, I just think I'll try and get away with this, try to outsource their shit onto the TO. And it was good. They would dance around it a little bit with me. So they would say, well, what if I asked this? I'd say, well, I probably wouldn't look very positively on someone who's trying to argue this sort of abstraction with this player. Yeah. And then on the same side, with that timing issue, it's just about, look, dude, you're losing 13-7. Just wrap it up. Everyone wants to get Subway, get and play game 3. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to see this as it's not a one-player game. I know you might get 50 points here from like knocking off 3 more Night Goblin archers over there, but the game's over. And it was really interesting just to go through that I thought I'd come up with this amazing comp system, which was complete shit. Like, and Paddy's put on the screen, thanks, which was garbage. But in the interim, the things we've done with sports actually improved it a great deal.
Yeah. It is hard when you try and fix something that's everyone's trying to fix at the moment, and obviously playing on a bit of a smaller scale. Like, it would be extremely hard trying to come up with a fair comp system. Obviously, for having new players coming in too, and trying to as well cater for the next Winter Warfare Old Hammer.
Yeah, well, people just want to play their armies. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. Like, they might have painted up these dragons or some new unit that they've spent, $200, which is sort of decided whatever the Cathay infantry is going to cost.
Yeah.
And you can't knock them back. Like, I think that's what you want. And if the cost is, you've got a few players playing a certain way, I think something Paddy and I have talked about, like, the bottom 50% of players just don't care about that sort of stuff as much as we might think. It's more that second quartile who are like, I really want to compete, which is where I place myself. Like, we've sort of talked about, and this is the sort of struggle with Warhammer, but Paddy and I have sort of talked about being most comfortable table 6 to 12, but the ego, you want to compete, but do you really want to? Like, do you want to do what it takes to play at that level? And I don't know, but the guys who are down at tables like 17 to 35, they just don't care.
Right. I'd like to see, I hope the scene though evolves back a little bit, where sportsmanship's a bit hard, but just hobby and painting and all that stuff. It'd be cool for us to like, back in 8th, I remember hearing a lot about like Warpacker and stuff over in the US, where it was like very hobby focused. So it was still competitive and everything, but people turned up, having made the effort. And I know that does wipe out some of the new people, but I hope as the scene gets bigger, there's some tournaments that sort of push that a bit, and it's not just, 3 colors is good enough. Because I think that also can stop some of the metagaming, because you can't just go out and 3D print the best thing and throw dry brush it and slap chop and throw on the table. It's like, there has to be a higher standard at some tournaments. I think that'd be cool. Not everyone, but it'd be nice if some were a bit like that, given that people do spend a lot of time on the hobby,
it's
even just down to
important
write
part
narrative about your armies and stuff. That'd be pretty cool. I haven't done any of that stuff. So,
well, you might want to go to the Old World Behemoths tournament. That's going in
10 teams signed up.
Not sure if you saw it, but they had running I'll put I think there's a link to their tournament pack. I'll put it in the description to this, but it's full narrative focused. So teams, 1,500 points, 750 each, and you have to write a backstory to your pairing.
Nice.
And idea, you get more points for like naming all your characters and creating.
Alistair, Alistair was spruiking it.
Yeah, I haven't finished watching that episode, actually. That's right, because they had the whole "I've got to put my money where my mouth" this type thing, wasn't it? Because talking about that's right.
Yeah.
The monologue.
It's going quite well, but that's what happened with the paint. Is I felt like so I had comp for paint, and you lost points if it wasn't tabletop. Yeah. But there are levels to it, and like ultimately with comp, it's got to be as objective as possible, and that's what we're trying to do. But yeah, I think there are tiers to the hobby side where it becomes a less enjoyable game when you've got a guy like it might be just like goblin green bases, or it might be like black bases, and you think, well, like part of as a TO, I think Oldhammer has set this bar very high. But we've tried in Sydney, like you've got to at least have the terrain, a matched terrain board, and you've got to lay it out, and that's about $250 for the cosmetics of the table. If you're buying the Bunnings table and you're paying for the venue, it starts going up from there. And people are pretty good about paying what it costs, but that idea that, if you play, like we pick on what happened at the was it called Clash on the Reek, Paddy? What was it called?
Yeah,
the
Clash on the
Reich. But there were people who dropped because of Double Dragon. They dropped because of power lists. But there was a Nuln army that was just printed. It was like double Hellblaster, triple Great Cannon, and it was just great. And you're just like, look, it's one. Yeah, and it's one thing to get smashed by that, but it's another thing to, like, if you've played those types of armies, they're sort of 50-50. You sometimes make it and then you butcher them. So it's not the end of the world. But if you're playing as a grey army, and I think you said, Paddy, when you saw the photos, that, like, the TO had gone to some effort. The terrain was pretty good. It was unique. And if you're just popping down your grey printed army, or even GW, it's pretty crap. Yeah,
Sydney.
I think it's an annual event.
Yeah, 3 maybe.
It's within a bigger thing.
Just after the last Oldhammer, right? I think, or just before.
Early April 12th. I think.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, there hasn't been many tournaments lately. Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, I know I don't enjoy it. See, I'd probably prefer to play against slightly more of an annoying opponent with a good army for 2 hours than push against a plastic army. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Got no issue if they've just done it, but no problem with that. Or if I know they are a good, I don't know. Actually, now I was going to say they are a good painter and they've started a new army. I still think, like, I wouldn't take. I've got my beastmen. They're sitting over there all brown at the moment. I'm not going to take them until they're done.
I think we're far enough in. Respect. I think it had, like, the 3 color minimum is like a must-have from now on.
To me, it's like a bloody minimum. Yeah, I just think,
I don't think there should be a grey miniature on a table ever in the old world ever again. It completely ruins it. And again,
I think if you're new and you've come along, I've got no problem. Now, I'm cool to give beginner passes. I think that's really good. But
not if you just
I think.
Well, if it's a power play and you got, like, especially that. To me, that was very Ninth Age. Was people trying out this powered army sort of thing, and then that was people just coming in with.
I've got the excuse that there is no for the game, so
well, well, people were coming in, with just like random minis, or not that they care about random miniatures, but like obviously I don't know if you guys have heard about, like, with Ninth Age, like, it was another thing that. As long as they were represented, but you had some pretty quirky armies out there as well, which to me doesn't give you that immersion either, where you're sort of like, talking about a grey army, but now, like, I'm going against some Lego army. Not that I played against the Lego army, but I see Lego army.
That's where I would rather just go and have a
drink. I'm sure it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
It would have cost a lot of money, but...
Yeah, it would probably cost more. Yeah.
But it's just, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was
it's a
taking
key.
this-
It's a key aspect of the game. That would be a concede for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to spend 2.5 hours playing against Lego. I'm just not going to do it. A big part of the game is what the game looks like for me.
I'm happy to buy the guy a drink and just go and chat about it. But I mean,
Yeah.
to your
That
point,
actually happened.
the fact that those videos who
I'll just
spend
play
all that
Legos in 2.5 hours. You can take the points, mate. Let's just play some Lego.
yeah. How many guys disconnect your army and put it back together in different
But that's why I think that, like, where is the skill is like a thing too. Like we've talked about that, like maybe there's too much in there. So like, the best part, Andrew, about having a list, and like I'll give full credit, it's like a definitely interesting, like it's different to anything I've seen before. Like, I could overthink this. What if I do this, then I do that? You see me put my rules questions into the chat, and I think there's a if I get that 4-inch whaling dirge, changes everything.
Yeah.
But there is a limit to it. And that's what, like, as we keep coming back to, like for us, it's like a 2-player game. Like, how much do you turn up? And like sometimes, like when I first got back into this, I was a bit like, I don't want to get into this. Like, you probably see me have a drink on this channel, but like just this idea, we're going to go and get smashed and play Warhammer. It's like, but at the same time, it's meant to be relaxed. It's not meant to be like, you can roll a 3+ with the best character in the game. You can, how many times, it seems to happen more than 50% of the time, you get your 4 dice out, you roll your 4 attacks, and it's 1, 2, 5, 4. And you're just like, okay, well, there goes my, +2 strength on the charge.
Yeah.
Now I'm stuck here with this elf shit kicker in this combat. And I think that's sort of the attitude you got to take into the game is like, what if you come up against a guy, like, it might be a new player, it might be some guy with this, tree spirit army, it might be some guy who's trying to play to win, but it's got to go back and forth. We're just spending too much time together as two people, like 2 grown men, to be like, I do this, I do that, I do this, you win, you win. It's a pretty grim state of affairs otherwise.
Yeah. That's why I don't mind these bigger events in a way. Like, I like that I'm seeing these 40-player events because I feel like it just separates it. It separates the people into their area. Whereas when you play like a little 10-man good games tournament, if you got 3 guys that are there that are just smashing everyone, you'll run into them. That's just naturally what happens. But yeah, that's funny. I was gonna going back to the comment about how hard it was to build armies and stuff. This is a totally random thought. I think I talked to Andrew about this ages ago, but do you reckon there'd be interesting YouTube television if you could come up with a documentary walking a non-wargamer through the process? They have to go through it. It's like reality TV where they actually have to.
As in my wife, I can tell you how this goes, Gomo.
Well, there wasn't reality TV. Beauty and the Geek, wasn't it?
But I mean, they're
going
to have to
marry
read the rules and come up with an list. And the funny thing is, it's not even for them; it's just for us to watch. It's almost it's narcissistic on our part because we want to see. We just want to see someone go through what we go through, but we actually like it. And then, so they're not going to get anything of value out of the whole thing. I'm not even trying to convince them to play. Like, fuck that. That's just. I just want to see what it actually takes. But yeah,
we've got a very understanding spouse, and still, it's just like, I don't think this is how much money have you spent? How much money are you making? That's been the 20-year experience in the game industry / now. Oh yeah, I'm just just need some paint.
Good thing is,
I don't know if a random who has no love for me is going to watch this and then say, okay, so I'd have my, I don't have one of those big magnifying glasses on. Like, it was in 40-Year-Old Virgin where he's painting the miniatures. Oh, shit. Like, thank God I got it done before 40 because, I don't know, this looks too much like me.
I tell you though, we're going to be the best retirees. Like, we're not going to get Alzheimer's. We're not going to get, like, we're going to be still bitching about Warhammer Old World version 17 or whatever it is by then, and about the
Let's hope, yeah.
We're going to be funny.
Grumpy old men playing Napoleonics.
Do you want to? Should we quickly get back to the game because it's hard to talk about in a podcast on Warhammer at the moment without talking about these leaks. So I feel like we have.
Yeah,
to talk
yeah, cool.
about
Because we haven't
anecdotal
talked about it. We weren't going to, and then Andrew and I were gonna try to do it today, and then I just ran out of time. So I'd
We
love
talk
to
about it
chat
here.
about it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I've got a little, just the screenshot that was shared in the Discord. We don't have to go through them all. I presume you guys have seen these and you have some standouts of what would actually make a difference. And so, like Alex, like for context, Alex thinks this is not fully fake, but probably not as accurate as the previous leaks have been, because it just feels a little wish listy. Like it feels
It
like
felt a bit weird to me too initially, but then I don't know. After reading it now, I think Andrew, you were quite high on it. Not that it was a real leak, but that you didn't mind the changes. I think, is that right?
Oh, if it was a choice between no changes and this, I'd take this any day of the week.
And then I
I
started
agree.
reading it again and went, hang on, maybe it's not too.
There's just so many random ones in there. Like
Oh, there is.
Alex's favorite one is Flails getting Armor Bane 1 on the charge. Like, what is that going to
I love a flail, and it should have armor bane 1. It just seems like a strange point to have errated.
Is that to help flagellants? Do they have flails? Is that?
Oh, to finally bring down
against
the dragons.
yes. No save for your full plate armor.
They're 10-inch charge. They're 10-inch charge. Max.
The other thing, one of the takeaways for me on this is, if it was real, they need a lesson on how to actually nerf magic and vortices, because they just keep fucking it up if that's what they're going to do. Because I just think, they wiped the sisters out because of that stuff, and now they're going to wipe out Pillar. And it's like, that's not the problem, people. The problem is...
No, well, that's my take. It's not the problem. So I feel like, God, if this is what they think, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I think it'd be fine as well. None of this I have a problem with, and some of it is quite good. But
like, what does that do? They can't take shields, but they can take the great weapon or the
and the vomit. They can vomit. Yeah, you can go hand weapon vomit.
What about arcane urgency being reduced?
Yeah, what's that about?
What's the point of
I
that?
reckon that feels like a we just wiped out a whole spell out of your deck because now no one's going to take Pillar.
Yeah,
so we better give you a. That's the thing. That's the bit where I'm just like, there's bits on here that I'm like, why don't you go down?
Makes sense at the same time, though. Yeah, so let's just go through them. I'll quickly go through them. Close order bonus for unit strength 10+ only. Yay or nay?
Yay.
Feels good. Feels good.
Yeah.
Most dragons are 9. What's a chaos dragon?
Well, it's only the chaos dragon, and I feel that's actually quite fluffy. It's supposed to be it's the worst dragon in the game, so I've got no problem with it being having the only one that gets.
And it's now impetuous on leadership 9, probably 10 by the time you cast it, or you have to roll it. 2+ save only for infantry and cavalry.
It's pretty good.
So is that only targeting the High Elf Dragon and now the Shaggoth, who can get a 2+? Oh no, it's technically
Trollhide. Can you get to 2+?
Yeah, the Orcs can as well. Although most of the time you're going to take a great weapon, so you're not usually getting a 2+ as such. But I don't know. I don't. Again, yes, but I don't. Majority again, that one's probably a slight fail for me because I feel like it's the triple save that's the annoying thing, not so much that
I agree. The triple save is the terror.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, look, overall, not too bad.
Supporting attacks can only be made within your base movement.
So that's
line hammer that's not really happening. So it would be like 50.
Is that what it is, though? Because supporting attacks are not.
Is the supporting attack not the fighting rank one?
I don't think it is technically.
Yeah, you can still be 9 wide and hit a 25.
But there's the fighting rank, supporting attack. Because it's
so I think by definition, the rule, the supporting attacks is the people behind the fighting rank. The people in fighting rank only getting 1 attack, if not in base to base, is not a supporting attack.
You're
right. But
it's directly behind a friendly model.
I wonder if that's just how they've written that. Because otherwise it makes no sense.
Your base movement, this is why I hate when they have like millimeters and inches, because the base, this is me being like a nitpick. I'm like, I Googled it and I'm like, well, hang on. It's
Yeah, it's
you're
not.
gonna have one over anyway. If you want to be like, why don't? It's
Yeah.
I,
Like if
I, I
everyone's
just
on
hate.
25 mils, it's okay because that's an inch basically, almost.
Well, it's almost
But
So I'm like, well,
technically it's
which way are
not.
you going to go with this? Is it meant to
20.4.
be? Because it's like a few mil over. So I'm like, well, which way are we going? Straight up, I'm like, oh no,
Yeah, that one
that's
to me, that's a
the
really weird one. And that's,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Impetuous. This one I'm a big fan of because Impetuous sucks. Impetuous
Yeah.
is now based on leadership rather than a 50-50. Even maybe even Goblin Wolf Riders are better than a 50-50 with a champion in there. Maybe not.
Are they 7?
6 or 7.
Oh, might be
6.
seven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 a bit lower.
Yeah.
I like it. The only thing I would
There
probably
you go.
like.
Dragon Princes.
yeah.
What do you think about if it was like the like a lot of those command trait things where it's based on your own unmodifiable leadership? What do you? Because I thought that might be.
I don't mind. Like, I played a lot of Impetuous, and I think it's unplayable. And it's just about that max range. So what happened to me was that like someone would sit their scouts at the absolute max range and then have to declare the charge. And like we do a lot on this, but like with the skill, a failed charge is one of the biggest levers you can pull in the game. So like difficult terrain's really big, and just rolling, missing that dice and then going like 1 to 4 inches forward, which is typically what it is such a big deal that I don't know. I feel like there's a better solution than this, but I'll take anything because as far as I can see it, I painted up this whole Khorne Demon army.
Yeah.
It's unplayable because you just get led around by a semi-decent player. They just dot you out 16 inches out and they just say, right, charge, and there's nothing you can do. So better than nothing, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, I don't mind it. I just hope it doesn't end up being, well, now, yeah, you've made the Chaos Dragon impetuous, but who cares? Because he's probably going to be leadership 10 anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Chaos Dragon Impetuous are just covered. Empire State Troops
Yeah, fun.
get warbanned. I'm not an Empire player. You are, Gomo. Does it make a difference?
Yes, I just would have loved to say Warband and Horde. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Ooh. And Horde.
Classic Empire.
I know. Griffin standard shenanigans.
Yeah, that'd be cool. +6. Yeah. It's still not going to help them charge, is it? But
no.
Again, that's a
But
buff.
you get a reroll. You get a reroll the charge.
Yeah.
Now on a 5, it's a big deal. It's like over 75%.
Yeah.
This one is kind of interesting. Caster spell bonuses are capped at wizard level +1, so no stacking Mortis engines. And I presume that affects Mort Cult as well.
Hang on, sorry. Just go back on the Empire one. I wonder if that would open up some other options. Because you know how like the warrior priests and stuff always have leadership, like lower leadership, 8 and stuff. Like I wonder if you could then start having like elector counts as generals and stuff, because then they get their warband bumps. So it might be there might be subtle improvements there that change the meta up a bit on Empire. Sorry, keep going though.
They would have to have warband as well.
The characters
playing Beastman, you got to have the character has to have it if they're going to benefit from the leadership.
Okay, is that how it works? Okay, right.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Like Doombull or Wargore and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
The next one, Paddy, is though the one that makes me suspicious. I just think they'll go harder about the level 4 thing. I think they'll go harder.
So what does this mean? So does this
surprised.
mean like you can only add +1 above your wizard level?
Yep.
So like if I've got the casket next to me and that gives me +1, there's no use taking Mortis Mort Cult. Is that what you mean? Like because I can't.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, so you can go +5 essentially.
But the whole
with the
premise
+4 from the wizard level +1. But it just seems too finicky to me. I think this has been, if you look at what they don't like these abstractions. Like they're happy to support dragons and hey, buy our $200 centerpiece model. But I think they will try to cap, if they were going to do anything, they're going to try to bring down the double level 4 list.
Yeah.
I mean, the issue. I mean, I'd probably stand by the issue. The level 4s and stuff isn't the casting issue; it's the dispelling.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
I feel like I feel like the whole 18-inch, maybe it would have been better if you just had the normal one to 4 levels and all that sort of stuff, but everyone dispelled at 24 inches and I don't, I mean, like it's basically like you can't not bring a 24-inch dispel bubble, so you need
absolutely.
level 4. It's not really
the difference of 6 inches is so big
It's
in a
massive.
game. You notice it every time.
I just played against a level 2 wizard a couple of weeks ago, and it was like, oh, you're probably in range. Oh wait, no, you're heaps out of range of my spell. Like,
So
you're not even close.
Like it doesn't fix the issue, and then it also kills some of these fluffy lists where you want. If you tune your list, you should be able to get.
That's right.
Yeah. Or what about power?
Yeah, what if you use an Ixty grub or something and you get +3? Now you only get +1, and it's like that's all I've got.
The Ixty grub. Someone think of the Ixty grub.
Yeah. Anyway, so I hope they do something better than that. But oh well.
Yeah,
it's what it is.
The next one, absolutely kills the faction that I play, in my eyes anyway. Poison now +1 to wound, not auto wound. That for Wood Elf, I know it's probably targeting, poison Death Stars, but collateral damage is probably the entire Wood Elf roster because it's a core thing of winning.
Actually,
really.
I don't mind its change, to be honest. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have just gone. I don't know. I feel like I would have gone if you don't like the poison Death Star, just make it volley fire or something against large target. Like cut it back somehow.
Yeah.
And just a question, I asked this, but I can't remember if anyone answered it on our Discord. Like, is that +1 to wound for all your hits, or just if you roll 6s?
That's what I'm guessing. Because
I did the maths on that, and it's not actually that much of a drop off. It's a little bit of a drop off, but it's not.
Yeah. Because that's what I got. You're going to be like winning on 5s sort of thing. That's what I got.
So actually, depending on the target, it actually can be quite good. It's probably never going to be as better than hitting with the 6, but
I think the way I read it is like, so if you shoot a poison arrow, you roll to hit as normal, but then on the wound, a 6 would be
cool.
No, sorry,
that's what
on
I
the wound
hope it
it's
is.
just easier to wound.
Yeah, because I think with Tomb Kings it still helps them because they're always hitting on the 5s or the 4 ups, but now they're just having to do that extra wound, but they're getting a +1 on it as well. Yeah. And then you've got the ability to debuff someone's toughness down as well. So there could still be some. I don't know if it'll totally kill the poison block, at least for Tomb Kings. Do you know what I mean? You might just have to operate slightly different. So
the next one is, as we mentioned, just so they've gone back to Pillar of Fire, trying their best to stop it being good. So they've taken the thing out that meant Sisters got nerfed, which I think Pillar of Fire random move is good, but the other Vortex thing that they've done is cooked.
Yeah, I think some of the templates. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like you should just make a rule you can only have one of the template on the table at once. And doesn't that solve a lot of the problems? I don't know. Yeah.
The other one they've done for the Vortexes is they're now dispelled from the Vortex and not the Wizard, which means they will most likely not last longer than your own turn that you cast it.
That's the so there needs to be something that fixes that. But I actually don't mind the change because I think half the time you forget about it as well and you think it's that. So I think it's going to be more intuitive in a way. But
people hiding their wizards, it was getting a bit ridiculous. Like for me, that was a bit too gamey. It's like, for Wood Elf, that's just me because I got my ass kicked by Wood Elves. But I was like, I can cast, and then
it was gross.
It was
just
gross. Reserve move back wherever I want to go, and it's just
I did it for about 6 months, and it's gross.
Yeah.
It did keep Death Stars in check, though. That's what I worry about with some of this stuff. If they're not going to bring down dragons, which I don't think this list does, then a Pillar at the time kept the Death Stars in check because there wasn't sort of this global effect, and you could just smash it with 3 pillars, but. That's what I worry about. And I'm just a bit unsure about this. I feel like, what if they... And I've been proven wrong plenty of times with this sort of stuff, the Jav leaks and being suspicious. I think I'm the most cynical person, but I don't think this moves the needle enough on what matters, as you said before, Gomo. To me, it's 360 charge arcs, especially at 20 inches, with something that can punch hard. It's anvils that you can't get any points from, and it's warded up dragons that can choose not. They can just decide, I'll just stay behind this building. It's too dicey, so that you can't get enough points to really make it worth your while. If only those three things were dealt with, I think we'd be in pretty good shape. But all of this stuff, I mean, poison, that's a huge shift. Like, it feels like it's only a third, though. I don't know the maths you did, Gomo, but like, if it's hitting and then it gets +1, you still got to roll to wound. I don't know, strength 3, usually, the targets that you're going for are wounding on 5s or 6s.
Yeah.
Just +1. I don't know. I mean, I'm waiting to see. I mean, it felt like with GW's push that this is coming sooner rather than later. So I'm just going to hold my breath, and I'm happy to be wrong. Something would probably be better than anything in many senses.
Yeah.
Or something would be better than nothing, sorry.
TMP,
I think that, I mean, we aren't through the list and I'm already adding stuff on here, but I feel like what a lot of tournaments have started to do now, just saying you get half points for half wound and half unit strength, and that changes the meta massively as well. You don't even have to. You don't even have to fucking
huge. It's great.
Suddenly your dragon doesn't. Suddenly you can get half points out of that thing. Like, I think that's a easier change that levels the playing field. But
we didn't talk about that with Old Hammer, but yeah, it's massive. Like the way that affects the game.
Yeah. Sorry,
TMP, I feel like everyone is kind of in this consensus now, aren't they? TMP, wholly within. Maybe not in. Yeah.
I think they should have increased the range, but that's okay.
Yeah. Ogre Blade, 75 points to stop you taking Talisman of Protection as well.
Love it. That's the one.
You were early on the Ogre Blade thing. I remember going.
Yeah, you guys were like ready to throw it in at one point.
I think
with
it's
Ogre Blade. That everyone should have one.
Sorry, underpriced, and you see it in every fucking list. And everyone was talking about the 4+ ward, and I'm like, nah, it's the Ogre Blade. Like, get rid of it. Make the price go.
You have to watch out for it.
It's
I will say, I never used an Ogre Blade.
That's the problem.
Kind of funny.
I've never used one.
Have you?
Oh no, I took one with the demon, Paddy, when I was aggro demon. Oof. Didn't pop.
Say you'll be a saint. Not taking an Ogre Blade.
I've never used an Ogre Blade. I don't think.
Elmo wins this one.
I never used it.
I did tear through a unit of demigriffs with it as well. Tore through it. It was disgusting. Like, it was just like, I rolled 5 and 6 or something. It was like, I think they're all dead.
Oh, it is. You feel bad. You do. Not bad enough not to take it. Like,
I'm running for my life from this thing. It's murder ball.
Yeah.
The Chaos Region items now Cavern Infantry only is probably.
What are they? I can't remember.
So the Crown of Lasting Conquest.
40.1. Yeah.
That stops.
Did you see them on the dragons and stuff? Or like,
did the Carrying Crow, does that give it to Region?
Yes, I think so.
But it's a bit more expensive.
Chaos Dragon is still close order, but it's now impetuous and can't have 3 saves. And can't,
Yeah, but did it ever? Like, do they used to take it that a lot, or do?
Not in the most competitive list. No.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
They dropped it.
Changes to points on Bretonia: Royal Pegasus +10, Pegasus Knights +4. What?
Surely it'll make no difference.
12 points added to your roster.
The Royal Peg should be a monstrous creature. That fixes the game.
I like that take, definitely. Everyone's favorite skirmishers can only charge if over half the unit can draw line of sight to the target.
Hope that's not true. That just
slows the game down.
Yeah.
Slows the game down. Yeah.
Yeah, that's lame. Arcane Urgency now 1 less to cast at 9. Touch that. Stupidity prevents casting and shooting. So that is that vampire counts focused? Is that what it's for or not?
Ooh. I'm not sure, but they definitely that 4+.
The Eye of the Gods, isn't that a 1? You hit stupid, is that one?
Stupidity.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of spells that do it. Give stupid.
Yeah. So wait, stupidity, yeah. Never mind. All right, yeah.
You've still got to fail the roll.
You've still got to fail it.
Yeah.
This one, shout out Alex Searle. Old World Behemoths has been trying to get this across the line.
Yeah.
Skin Wolves
Fair
came
enough.
out. Yeah, that's not happening. Vortex is now dispellable. We did impact hits happen before challenges are declared. So
I love
impact
that.
unit.
I like that rule. I like that rule.
It kind of makes sense. Like thematically,
Yeah.
you're not pointing out some chariot and being like, "Oh,
Yeah, they're just hooning towards them. Yeah, they're taking the brunt of it. Yeah. I think that's pretty cool because it does it means that even though you're going to get challenged out, you can do still a bit of damage or vice versa. Yeah. Does that mean no? They wouldn't be able to hit back at you. Yeah. So, oh god, I don't know. Does that?
It would give you the chance, I suppose, for a chariot to get combat res, right? As opposed to like charging some beefed up character.
Do you
and
think
then
when they say that it has to then go against the unit, so therefore you're not getting it at all in your challenge. So it also might cause a few issues where you don't even get your overkill through, depending on what you're challenging. So it's kind of interesting change.
Well, it could make chariots quite. I don't know. I just want to see what this does because it could make them better in a sense. Because sometimes you're not caring about winning combat so much. It's just like sometimes people just throw a champion and you're just like, oh damn, sort of thing, because you're wasting your impact hits to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
hopefully
I suppose if you charge, champion challenges your guy on a chariot, you roll 6 impact hits, you kill 6 models in that unit, and then you do 6 wounds, including overkill to that champion with the ogre.
The cool thing is, multi-charging chariots into units would be cool because one of them gets challenged out, but it doesn't matter. You can wipe the whole front rank with your impact hits.
Yeah,
and then you're still getting your max overkill. Doesn't seem to help infantry. It's not a
No, it's not helping infantry. Not at all. This is like worse for infantry.
The next one seems oddly targeted as well. Trollhammer Torpedo is good, but like strength 5 almost, like poor dwarves. It was their only thing against dragons, right?
Strengths. What is he? Can't remember.
Strength 8. It's not even like a great cannon. I mean, why would you target this and not a great cannon, which is a laser that can point, is it 72 or 60 inches?
60 inches
across the board, and then go 10 from the back and mostly just hit you every time. These are the ones that make me a bit suspicious.
I just looked up Trollhammer Torpedo. It's dwarf crafted. Cumbersome is you can't stand and shoot. Dwarf crafted is do not suffer the -1 to hit when making a stand and shoot.
Yeah.
So it's just like a complete
contradiction thing or
nullification. It's just nullifying the thing. Yeah. Just like Trolls getting Motley Crew doesn't make sense either. Flails getting Armor Bane on the charge. Halberds at AP +2 on the charge.
That's interesting. Like Demigriffs. Wouldn't you take Demigriffs then?
Demigriffs with halberds.
Halberds rather than Lancers? That'd be fucking awesome.
There was a guy at the last Old Hammer who had it. He had 6 Demigriffs in a unit with halberds.
Yeah. I'd do that every day.
He was on his own. He was Forerunner.
Trust me, this is coming.
He was playtesting.
Infantry get +1 combat res if they outnumber their opponent.
Love it.
This is pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's good. Infantry heavy, infantry only, +1 armor in melee if using hand weapon shield up to max 3. So Chaos Warriors get their 3+ save.
I don't like it in the sense that I do like what they're trying to do. I'd rather just bring the parry thing or something. Like it's too complicated, all these conditions and you should just fix Chaos Warriors and give them full plate. Like just patch that.
Yeah.
Well,
it's melee. Yeah, it's not like against shooting. So, but it does make it a bit more.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of them are okay. Some of them are pretty random, to be honest. And does it move the needle? Probably not. Not in a good way necessarily, like holistically, I don't think. That's my 2 cents. I think. I mean,
right, I brought it up on I think we brought it up on the pod, but I was just like, oh no, it wasn't. It was just in my comments. I was just a bit concerned that it's like too many little changes in the sense that you're going to have like your errata book and almost write it in the rule book, and because it's almost too much all over the shop.
Yeah.
It's not just like
Yeah.
trying to fix this thing. It's like freaking everywhere. And that's why I was like going, oh, would they really do that? I don't know. Like,
I remember, and I've brought up a few of your past episodes before, but I'm still an avid listener. But at the start, I was like, Old World Fanatics is the jam. And you mentioned in previous editions, you used to like paper, like almost like post-it note of the rules.
So the 6-set FAQs were done in a way that you could cut them out.
Yeah.
They would print that the FAQ was done, and you'd cut it out. It was in the exact shape that went over the top of your thing, so you could patch the whole bit.
Yeah, because now the rule book and like the army list ones, the Ravening Hordes and whatever the other one is, they must be a mess now. Like so many sentences in those books mustn't be true. So if you buy them brand new, you're just playing.
Doesn't feel like an SDS thing to do. Yeah, I don't know, but I might be wrong.
I'm definitely suspicious. I felt like there was that bit beforehand. It just made more sense to make more generalized changes. So when they said, oh, okay, if it's an anti-flying thing, like assuming Falconhorn, but throwing in this new Beastman thing and the Skaven one, that it only is in a 24-inch bubble. Those sorts of changes, like there might be like a bullet point list of 10 or less.
Yeah.
That'd be more what a games company does. Like this, like to me, is too much of an admission of fault. And it doesn't gel with anything Games Workshop. And look, where I'll stand sort of corrected is if this is what's happening in AOS or 40K, I'm not au fait with how that's all worked in the last 10 years. People talk about these generals handbooks and that they're much more involved in monitoring the community. My experience is mostly like pre-2010 where they just did not care one bit. And that like even before they revived Blood Bowl due to mutiny or like revolution, where, like they just did not care at all. They're like, hey, you do what you want, like play heavy metal or whatever. Like that's the vibe they had. Yeah. It just would shock me for a games company to come out and say, we've made this many mistakes because they're too perceptive with marketing.
Yeah. 40K, I think you have to split the studios because 40K and AOS do indeed do this, and 40K 10th edition has done it. I mean, it's ridiculous. The game apparently is in a very good meta state. However, there is no way you can pick the rulebook up, and you can't even pick up the code and day one read what's in it because it's already changed. And I'm talking about not changed slightly. I'm saying they've ripped entire sections out and replaced it multiple times, like Astartes. Not Astartes. What's the gold dudes? The gold plated guys, the big guys. The Emperor's dudes.
Oh,
the gold, whatever. They're those dudes. They replaced the entire like flyer model rules. Custodes. Fuck, it's like I tried to follow it because I wanted to build my orc army, and within the first patch, 3, and they do it every 3 months or whatever. I was just like, the fuck, this is like a totally different game every time, and like the book is you get like a 10 or 20 page errata, like so. But what I was saying before is I just don't think they do that with it. STS doesn't seem to do that with Heresy as much, and that's the same. So I'm hoping it's not to that level, but they will patch what they need. I don't know. This one just feels a little bit too all scattergun all over the place. Yeah. And so I'm like, are they going to do that? I don't know.
Like realistically, in the previous facts and erratas, the Sisters thing is an anomaly. The Sisters of the Thorn thing, where they're just like, no, that one's too strong. It's done. You're not playing it. The rest have been like tweaks, and maybe not well done tweaks, but they haven't been heavy-handed and specific almost. Like they've kind of reworded stuff to make more sense. So this all feels a little too direct for me. Like I think the guy who's posting all this stuff has a very, very good success rate on that Discord channel. He gets most of the leaks for the Arcane Journal, Jav. Yeah.
But he didn't leak that, did he?
Didn't he?
I think someone said he endorsed it though.
He endorsed
it. Oh, he did. Did he endorse it?
That's what I've heard. I don't know, and that's why I'm still sort of sitting on the fence. Is because to me,
it's not sourced
yet.
Or some shit. That's what I heard.
That always doesn't it. God, what are they doing over there?
No.
The youth unemployment, they're just searching forums.
Yeah.
Apparently the economy is going really well, but well done. And remember, as Paddy
You get
said,
free. You get free
hola,
arcane
our
journals.
Spanish subscribers.
Our Spanish subscribers, this is for you.
It's part of the pie.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Please comment and subscribe. Spanish, we will Google Translate for you. Don't worry.
The only thing, and this is, I'm flipping back around and being the G-Dub hater, not G-Dub hater, but like the sales guy, is do you reckon they would patch anything in preparation to make sure Cathay plays really well?
Yeah, I do.
I'm expecting like a toughness 7, strength 8 dragon. I'm just expecting a Tomb King's Britonia. Just stick it together. It's going to be rough.
This is what Jack
Oh, okay,
said.
I'm
cool.
expecting Friends to be bankrupted.
So he
I
says,
didn't see this.
people keep asking, I'm going to post this little bit of commentary and pin it. The list matches some stuff I have heard floated around, but not necessarily 100% match all the details or has the same information. Some things may be missing, some things may be new, some may be different. There's a bunch of versions of 1.5 out there, and so there's a lot of conflicting information. To me, it looks like a summary of the changes of one version, but that's just my gut feeling. This is also why I do not want to comment on any specifics of it in terms of wording, whether one bit or another is true, etc. You'll have to wait until it's out, and I'll say, and that's all I'll say on the matter.
Cool. Well, knowing Jab, I don't know him, but from all his other stuff, I reckon that is not the full. That is not the list. Then you're going to hit it. It's like anything. You're going to hit some of it, and then others won't be there. And
he's a lot more.
I don't
he
think
does
that's
leaks. He thinks about how he drips it out as well. Like it's funny. He has this power, and like he's a moderator in that Discord, and like he does it probably the right way, where he doesn't just go, boom, here's 1.5 in your face. He goes, something's coming in 3 months, and here's a little tease for you, and that part's correct.
Yeah,
but he doesn't go like, he's not out to undo Games Workshop or like, I don't know.
No, that's right. Yeah,
interesting though.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It'd be good. I think it'd be good to shake it up. I mean, what is it, a year and a bit in? And like we were thinking with Old Hammer, and you guys are much more seasoned than us, but like it's sort of the end of the first bit for us. Like as in, we've had the channel, we've played most of the armies. I feel like we went through the different Old Hammers for us, and like the progression from, hey, we're just happy to be here, to I've played this dragon and no one had a great time, and now the arrival of sort of what we think is sort of the best list in the abstract in the game. And it's probably good. I think it's thriving. Like, I mean, I hope it's come through for people who've hung in here, but like what they've done in Sydney is pretty incredible. Like, it's not central Sydney where I think they're starting to surface sort of the people coming out of the woodwork. Like the Behemoth tournament has picked up a lot of people around North Sydney.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you guys are coming. And I think like, you've probably been around the traps, but I do think like 40 people at Oldham are pretty consistently selling out. I mean, it's not going anywhere anytime soon, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like, I mean, for those who haven't been out there, I mean, just in the quality of the venue and the tables and stuff. And most of the model, like, the people, obviously, as more people come, you're going to get varying people come, but definitely everyone had really good armies and everything. And it's good.
Good people, but I've never had a game there that I didn't have really good fun. Like, everyone was really fun to play against. So it definitely had a good vibe, which is what I really enjoyed. Which it seems like from the Sydney guys, like, it's always a bit weird coming from Newcastle down to Sydney because there's so many new faces and you're like, don't know what to expect. But no, every time I come down and play you guys, it's great. I don't have any bad experiences.
Oldhammer is great, and it's probably going to become, I believe, and it's already kind of there, the mainstay of the Sydney scene. It's just exploded, and they do a great job.
Michael was talking about trying to fit in a couple of 2-days, wasn't he? Is that what was happening? Or
I think.
Well, they initially slated it for this time. I think personal commitments make it difficult for them to get 2 days up. I know they want to do it. probably, I think once you get past that first Masters round, they're keener, I think, on feeding into that sort of system. Like we're sort of going more the other way. But I think they would like to be, like, if you're trying to sort of iterate what's happened over the first year, I think it's probably worth chatting to them about it, because they could probably, I don't know how many Sydney players will go. I imagine Paddy Gallagher will go. Keith, I hope, would go. Mark, I don't know. I think they're the ones who are qualified from that circuit. But I think you'd find that over the year, there's now been more of the serious players uncovered, and whether they want to go. I think Michael and John and the other Western City Wargamers would want. They look like, although it started as a way to sort of, like, they're very supportive of us and they're very supportive of other people trying to run tournaments, but I think it's pretty clear they're the big ship, and at the same time they are pushing more to be like that competitive, like, not obviously, let's find out where we can go with this rule set, but more like they're happy to go as big as they can, I think, in the future.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Actually, having said that, I am starting to lean back more to the one days, to be honest. Even though originally I was like, I always like weekends, but now I'm like, now there's more tournaments. It almost feels like, especially if Newcastle keep with Castle. If we do one, Andrew and I have been trying to think about doing Biv or something again. It's like, I don't need 2 days. I'll just do 2 days here, and then I'd rather just go somewhere else for 1 day down in Sydney. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's good. I don't think I'll ever be able to do 2 anymore. Get too tired. Third game, I'm hopeless. Lucky you're getting me at my best, Andrew. Could have had 3 coffees and half a beer.
We buying you beers left, right, and center.
That's right.
All right.
It's a very complex army.
Can I ask a question, but before, like, I don't want to start blowing out into another segue, but Alex, you were saying before you weren't too sure on those FAQs or ratas coming out, and it seems like Paddy shares his sentiment. Have you guys thought, or would you hope possibly that with the match playbook that they might encompass some of the things that they're missing within the FAQ or erratas, etc., just to try and even out through a comp system and the scenarios?
I don't have a whole lot of faith in GW thinking about the tournament scene as such. I think that what will come out is a way to, like, it's basically objective based play essentially for your backyard. I don't think they're thinking about Oldhammer, and they're thinking about, the TSN arena in the UK. I think they are. I think the scenarios they put out in the original book were just like, give them, and this is just going to be like this is how you play Warhammer book. I don't think it's tournament based. That's my opinion anyway.
I think
that's not going to affect the FAQ as such, like that. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, look, having tried and failed with tournaments, I think scenarios are the way to go in terms of evening it out. But you can only, as you guys have sort of put across a few times, like in this piece, that you can't even it out altogether. You've just got to sort of accept certain things, that the bigger the event, you're going to attract a wider group of people. We didn't even touch on yet. You're just going to have to manage personalities, and like, it's our take on the channel and the tournaments we run to say, hey, it's on you as an adult to just not be a dick, and that's a little bit more flexible. And if you both want to be dicks, go for it. At the same time, like, if you want to play in silence, absolutely. But you've got to be an adult and figure it out. Don't put it on me as the TO, because this game just is too much of a sandbox, and you're going to turn up with someone who's got this beautiful army and can't play it for shit, and you've got to be good about it in that game and give both of you an experience. But I think I've been shocked at what they've done in the last 2 months, and that the game has got a lot of legs. So, like, Paddy and I always talk about it because we're cynical people, me more so than Paddy probably. But like, you can't argue that the game's in a bad place. So, like, let's see what happens, because just this push from Wood Elves to Beastmen to Cathay to, like, God, I just would not have put money on it. And I like, actually, I'm not allowed to put money on it, but I would. I'd love to put money. I would have put my money on the other side for sure.
Yes.
Do you think that's, I feel like it's been, I reckon they've pushed it forward a bit to start getting these plastics out because they probably have recognized that the game's got legs, but the old models have only got a certain pull. And then, but to get the other bits in, get the holdovers over, we need to bring in the new plastics, And so it feels like they've just pushed that, get this first version out, like the first part of it out, and now let's get onto the real game, which is really interesting because we just don't know what we're going to get now. It's like crazy. I don't think anyone knows what the game's going to look like in 3 months' time once Cathay's out and maybe some other ones on the way because, was it Southern Realms is another rumor and then Kislev's probably hanging around somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah. Or the other Chaos Army. I mean, to me, that's like incredible that they might go with a different version of Chaos from the Frozen Wastes. And look, it's been a hell of a year. Like, it's been incredibly absorbing, the whole thing. And as we've said before, like 40-year-old man, it's a bit ridiculous sometimes. But yeah, like I've been engrossed by the whole thing. And I felt like before Wood Elves, maybe this is dying on the vine a bit. But I can't, in all honesty, say that's what's happening now. They've just been pumping it out. And as you say, Gomer, I think you're right. Like, they're like, right, here, we had all the Cathay stuff in the warehouse. That's why we started this thing. It's gone way better than we thought. We're working on a year-long turnaround. What do you got next year? DLC characters, all this sort of stuff that's coming. So I'm not, going to say that it's going to be above 40K or AOS or anything like that. But you feel positive. Like, it's a plus. It's not where it was at when the Dwarf book was being held up on some boat because the Houthis were shooting at it or something like that. I don't know. So
the only thing is
that
probably
possible?
a little bit.
Did it come through that part of the world? I don't know, Patty. It sort of looked like, come on, Alex. It comes through Cape Horn.
Yeah.
It doesn't go through the Middle East.
Oh, no idea. I don't know the name.
Sunk somewhere.
I'm sort of psyching myself that we're going to get all this out and then it's going to be like silence for 6 months. And I'm not unhappy about that. Like, I think the meta will have to settle down and Cathay and all that. Plus, hey, man, I've just got a Beastman army. I'm going to buy a Cathay.
I was going to say, I painted 15 Minotaurs.
I have Wood Elves on the sprue. I'm like, give me a break. I need to actually get something. But yeah, so I think everyone did. But again, it might not be true that they might 3 months later, come September, October, we might be seeing another army. Who bloody knows the way it's going? So
yeah, well, but the communities are thriving, and that's the difference. I guess that's where it sort of started here. Is it with, you guys have a broader outlook than us, but in Sydney, I don't know how anyone could look at it and say, oh, it hasn't done well in a year, and it's down to the people who've made that happen. But at the same time, if you were wanting to dust off your monopose Dark Elf army and get a game in, you're going to find one in 2 weeks in Sydney now. And I don't think that was true a year ago.
No, it wasn't.
He was the Sydney.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys have just been supporting it left, right, and center. What you guys have done and what you have created, within Western Sydney, Southern Sydney, it seems like Northern Sydney's got like it. I don't know. It's almost like you guys are in like little rival gangs to a certain extent because there's communities like everywhere. And now I'm in like the chat. It's like, there's, the Chatswood group, and it's crazy how many micro communities almost you got going. And then like, obviously you got your larger tournament groups, and it's fantastic because Newcastle, we've got, I play Gomo. So that's
there is more people hanging around. The thing is, me and Andrew probably need to do a better job of actually getting more people out. We don't even go to our local game club, like where Castle Salt's from. We don't. See, it's a Sunday. This is the thing. Like, it just doesn't suit.
It is Sunday, yeah. Kids
used to, but it doesn't now. So I'm like, I don't know. We've talked about it. We need to get off our butts. And I ran into another guy at like our hobby shop here the other week, and he's like, he's trying to get games, and he'll come up and play. And I'm like, well, let's sort it out. But it just feels like every time I have a game, I either play Andrew or play Cam. And when you're trying to get games in with them, trying to get another game in with someone else when you only play like once every 2 weeks, it's just hard. So yeah,
it is.
but we need to in order to get more people in. So
Yeah,
need
it's
to
the
sort
hardest
it
part
out.
about the game.
Yeah,
It's a good problem to have.
It
yeah,
is.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, got people wanting to have a game, which is better than trying to find people to have a game. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I reckon we're over 2 hours, which is a bloody PB for us, which is great. I know that's in your usual remit.
This is rookie number.
Yeah.
just walk it up.
I was going to keep talking. I felt bad for you guys. I'm like, oh, you better.
Talk about hobby.
shut up.
You got to bring in hobby, or what's Josh got on the boil? A 6 foot, waterfall or something.
Yeah.
He's putting together. Wouldn't shock me. We got to get a game again. So I want to play a Britannian Lord on a horse. Tell him it's our 10 out of 10. Is it Warhammer scale?
Yeah. That's the number one
Ooh.
spot.
But have your general on a horse.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Totally.
It's been a great chat. Obviously, if we can go for 2 hours, and we probably could have gone longer if I wasn't getting side-eyed from my wife. Nah, I'm just joking. She's great. Yeah, we're looking forward to Old Hammer in a week or so. So keen for the games. Keen to see you guys, and anyone who is watching. Thank you so much. Check out Old World Fanatics. Like, comment, subscribe on this. Join our Patreon if you're keen, and we will see you for the next 2+ chat. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.